A quick note before the video. I haven't been uploading as much as I would have liked to on this channel in the previous 2 weeks because of some complications with my setup and also some um, exams that I need to register and prepare for. Also, the fact that I have reconsidered my idea of making a monthly series instead of a weekly because patterns are easily identifiable on a monthly basis than on a weekly basis in any sport, to be honest. So, yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so the last video I uploaded on my channel was about um, 2 weeks ago, I suppose. Oh god, I don't even fucking remember it was that long. Alright, so you would think, what's the big matter with that? It's only been 2 weeks, right? Let me tell you, the transfer window has officially ended with the craziest deadline day possible. Um, Manchester City have overturned their first game week and won two consecutive matches on the trot with um, 5 goals in each. Also, Manchester United have signed fucking Ronaldo, and their attack is now looking like a dream come true. Chelsea are as ever reliant as they were. There's no change there, and also Arsenal has been as consistently shit. Um, so yeah, some things have changed, some things have not. I think I'll discuss that later. But right now, in this video, um, let's just get a look over the UEFA Champions League. Yeah, the Champions League. Remember, right? Its groups have been announced. So yeah, let's just predict them. Yeah, going over group A in alphabetical order. We have Club Brugge, Man City, Paris Saint-Germain, and RB Leipzig. Um, Club Brugge are a good team, and Leipzig too. Man City and PSG are literally super teams. So this group is bound to be competitive. Um, they have the two oil clubs as well. Uh, the Qatari versus the Saudis. The oil Chester derby, yeah. So, I think that Club Brugge would finish last. They are a good team. I think if they would have ended in the in an easier group, I think they would have had the capacity to go out of the group as well. But this group is hard as fuck, and I don't think that they have the resources to compete with good teams like the other three. RB Leipzig, they were folded recently by Bayern, I think 4-1. Uh, I know, I actually, it doesn't feel right in saying that, but it doesn't always feel positive when your team has been picked apart by Bayern, who got Nagelsmann, Upamecano, and Sabitzer directly from them. Their best defender, their best midfielder, and their coach. Also, the fact that they Liverpool signed Konate from them. So yeah, their defense has gone through transition. I think they have signed Moriba from Barcelona. He's a good player, no doubt. But I think he needs development. I don't think he's a finished product as of yet. And I think Leipzig is in a bit of transition as most of the German clubs are more often than not uh, because of teams picking them apart. So yeah, I think they would comfortably finish third ahead of Club Brugge, and they are in contention for the Europa, I think. Man City and PSG is literally a coin flip. I think both teams are really good. Both teams are um, very resourceful. They have different players for different situations. Good players. I think good is an underwhelming word for these teams. They're excellent teams, but I do think that Man City edges over PSG with their better manager, their better chemistry, because Man City's squad has remained quite the same throughout the years. Um Kevin De Bruyne has been there a long time. Bernardo Silva has been there. Um, Stones has been there. Ruben Diaz has had a season already. Jesus has been there for a long time. Sterling has been there for a long time. So yeah. Also, I think Jack Grealish is proving to be a good signing because Ferran Torres has been good as a striker. So yeah, I think that PSG haven't had the time to bond or mold in yet. I don't. I don't think that Messi has played any game besides his debut game, and that only for 20 minutes. So yeah, I don't think that PSG are on the will be on the top of the form in the group stages. I think they would get considerably stronger as the as the Champions League progresses. So yeah, I think that Man City would end up in the first place and PSG would be just behind them in second place. So yeah, Man City and PSG out of the group. Um, Advancing to the round of 16, RB Leipzig in third for Europa and Club Brugge in fourth. Going over to Group B, we have the Italian giants Milan, the Spanish champions Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, and Porto. Pretty competitive group this one as well. Milan has looked good with their attack. I think in recent games domestically, with Rebic and um, Rafael Leao, who has been great for this to start the season with. Also, Zlatan has scored his first goal on his return, but I don't think he will be fit for most of the time. And so, yeah, they have done a good job recruiting Giroud from Chelsea. He's like the exact profile of Zlatan. Sorry. Um, yeah, I think they have the capacity to do well. Also, they can boss the midfield with Kessie and Tonali. Yeah, Tonali. Tonali has been really good for this season to start with domestically. So also their backline has Tomori and Romagnoli, and they have signed the best Ligue 1 um, uh, goalkeeper, Menyan from Lille. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of positives to look forward to for Milan, but I don't think that they are um, as resourceful as the other two teams, namely Atletico Madrid and Liverpool, this time around. So yeah, I think they will finish in third. Uh, Porto, yeah, I don't think that they can get out of this competitive group. So yeah, they can be comfortably placed in fourth. So it's a toss up between Atletico Madrid and Liverpool for the first and second places. Atletico Madrid, what a summer they have had. Offloading Saul, who was not in Simeone's plans, and recruiting Griezmann. I think that they had too many midfielders with uh, Saul too. So yeah, they have offloaded a midfielder and signed some fucking amazing attackers in Cunha and Griezmann, adding to their attacking threat with Suarez and João Felix. I think they have a lot of depth, especially I think in all aspects of the game. Name it you can name it. Defense. They have Jimenez on the bench nowadays. In midfield, they have Lemar on the bench, who is a really good player. In attack, they have João Felix on the bench. So yeah, Griezmann's homecoming has been a revelation for Atletico. I think he never fit properly in Barcelona, but yeah, I think he would do well with them. Uh, Liverpool have have the quality of players that any top side would like to have. Virgil van Dijk, Matip, and Konate in central defense with good fullbacks such as Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. I think that their midfield has great alternatives as well in Thiago, Fabinho, who have had a good partnership in the early season domestically. Also, Henderson, of course, their captain, and a good front line with Mohamed Salah, Mane, Firmino, and Jota. But they lack what Atletico do have in them is um, the depth. I think that with Harvey Elliott injured, it's a serious concern for Liverpool, and they haven't signed anyone really aside from Konate this summer round. So yeah, if they suffer from injuries in midfield this time around, it would be the reverse scenario of the previous season where they had to fit in the midfielders in defense, and now they would have to fit in the defense in the midfield. I hope it does not happen, but seeing as they are so susceptible to injuries and they don't have the quality of depth that Atletico have, I'm going to place Liverpool in second and Atletico in first. Going over to Group C, we have the talent factories of Europe in Dortmund, and Sporting, along with Besiktas from Turkey. Um, uh, Talking about Ajax, I think that they have a decent team as always in the Champions League. Dusan Tadic has been bagging in the goals lately, as he always does. Ten Hag is still the coach. So yeah, both would be positives for them. They narrowly missed out the previous year because their group was tough with Liverpool and Atlanta in front of them. So yeah, this time I don't think that the group is that tough to begin with this time. So yeah, positive signs for them. And Besiktas, I don't follow Turkish football that much, but in researching for the video, I found that they have been good domestically the previous season. Also, they have bought in Michi Batshuayi and Pjanic, I think. Also, Alex Teixeira. So yeah, I think they could be a team that could give a run for their money to any team in this group. Now Dortmund. Dortmund are heavily reliant on Haaland, as we have seen in the early part of this season. I mean, he's a machine, but I don't think any team should be over reliant on one person. I don't think that is how it works. Let's just take an example of Barcelona. They have suffered collapses in recent years because they are over reliant on Messi. So yeah, that is a bit of a concern. They would have to hope that Malan and Haaland connect well. I think they are decent in midfield, but with Jude Bellingham in. But I am very concerned about their defense. But yeah, of course, I think that they are one of the best teams in this group. Then we come to Sporting. Sporting are the Portuguese champions, I think, going into this season's Champions League. Yeah, but they have lost Nuno Mendes to PSG and have brought in Pablo Sarabia. Um, Time to rank them. So yeah, I think that Ajax actually would finish first, followed by Dortmund, Sporting in third, and Besiktas in last. Yeah, going over to Group D, which constitutes Inter Milan, the Italian champs, Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Sheriff. Yeah, so it is pretty much the same group for Inter, Real, and Shakhtar. Just that Gladbach has uh, not been in this group this time around, and it's instead the debutant Sheriff. Uh, uh, Talking about Sheriff, they are the first team for Moldova to compete in the UCL this time around, and I think I salute them for their services, but I am really pessimistic if on the fact if they can get any results out of this group, because the other three teams are levels beyond them in my opinion. But I think that they could surprise some teams. Uh, we could see an underdog story this in this group, but it is pretty unlikely in my opinion. Talking about Inter Milan, I think they have lost many players this time around, losing Hakimi to PSG, losing Lukaku to Chelsea, but they have brought in Zappa Costa and Dzeko and Calhanoglu to fill the void. They have looked good domestically. Inzaghi's football has been looking free flowing, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, they are one of the best teams in this group. Going over to Real, pretty good team this time around as well. I mean, you can always expect Real Madrid to do well in the Champions League. In the Champions League, it is their competition after all. They've got Big Benz up front, bagging in the goals as always. Recently, bagged a hat trick and an assist in the same game. They have brought in Kamavinga, failed to bring in Mbappe, but I think that is good for them because they can now focus on their weakness, that is the defense. I think that the defense is the only area where they have a problem. I think the midfield is pretty settled with Cruz, Casemiro, Modric, and Kamavinga with Fede Valverde actually. So yeah, I think the midfield is pretty settled. Vinicius has looked pretty confident this time around and is finishing well in this season. Um, Also, Hazard has looked productive. Bale's looked kind of positive. So yeah, I think the attack and the midfield is pretty much settled. The only thing they lack, I think, is the defense. The defense is uh, quite out of depth. I think the first choice defense is pretty good with Mendy on the left, Alaba as the center back, and Militao as the center back, and the right back to be Carvajal. But I think that even if one of them gets injured, they do not have enough quality depth to cover them up. I think Gutierrez on the left has been good domestically for them. So yeah, they could do well this Champions League. I think if they cover up for their defense. Talking about Shakhtar, I don't know much except for the fact that they scout Brazilian talent pretty regularly. Um, uh, they would be a good team, or as always, they surprised Real Madrid the previous Champions League as well. So, yeah, expect them to do well. Um, Talking about standings, I think Real Madrid would finish in first despite their poor defense. Inter would finish in second because I think that uh, with a new coach, I think it takes time to regroup as a team. So yeah, I think they would finish second. Shakhtar would finish third, and we will salute Sheriff to the fourth position. Group A constitutes of Bayern, Benfica, Barcelona, the three Bs, and Dynamo Kiev. Bayern has a competitive is actually an underwhelming thing to say about their squad. They are pretty dangerous squad to deal with. Leroy Sané has looked to pick on his form recently. They have Musiala, who is one of the most talented teenagers I've ever seen. Nabry, Lewandowski as always, Murler as always, Goretzka and Kimmich partnership. Now they've brought in Sabitzer to cover up if one of them has any injury. Um, a defense of Pava, Upamecano. Sula, Lucas Hernandez, Davies. So yeah, they are packing the best goalkeeper as well in Manuel Neuer. So yeah, I think they are a pretty stacked team, and they should easily clear this group. Uh, yeah, they should easily clear this group. Um, Talking about Benfica, Benfica have I don't follow Portuguese football much, so yeah, but I think that uh, kind of researching for this video, I think their recent form is quite promising. At the very least, on the at the very least. So yeah, good signs for them. I hope they would compete. Dynamo Kiev would be the same thing. Looked good in patches the previous UCL against Barca and Juventus, but yeah, I don't know if that is enough to do the job. Barcelona. Now comes the Big B, Barcelona. Barcelona are a mess, I think. I don't think Koeman is not necessarily bad, but I think he's pretty average as a coach, not to the level of coaching a Champions League side. He is too stubborn to start some of the players he has agendas with. Uh, Consider Ricky Puig, for example, and Pjanic, who went to Benfica. To Besiktas. So yeah, I don't know if Barcelona would do well under them. The only ray of hope I could see is Memphis just blasting through the competition. But yeah, with Barcelona, one man over reliance is always bad. That resulted in 4-0, 4-0, 8-2 as well. So yeah, these Barcelona lot are not that promising this time around, in my opinion. I think Bayern would finish first in this group, followed by Barcelona, even though they are not as promising, and I would expect them to go out in the round of 16. Um, Third would be Benfica, and fourth would be Dynamo Kiev. Group F has Atalanta, Man United, Villarreal, and young boys. The boys are back. So yeah, talking about young boys, I think yeah, considering the competition that they have in this group, I would be surprised if they would record uh, more than 3 points this time around. But yeah, it could be an actual whirlwind season for them in the Champions League this time around. But I wouldn't back on them to go out of this group. So yeah, Atlanta. I love the Gasperini football, the free-flowing football that he applies in Atlanta is good. They lost Romero, but they have signed a few competitive groups of young players like they always do. They still have Ilicic, they still have good players, and yeah, I think they are free flowing as always and playing to score goals. That is the biggest positive, I think. Also, Villarreal, yeah, Villarreal, the Man United beaters in the Europa League final last season. Yeah, so Villarreal are a good team. Emery is the key, but their form domestically has not looked very promising. They have 3 draws from 3 games, I suppose, and Unai Emery would be frustrated. The previous season was the same in the La Liga for them when they just uh, played too many draws. So yeah, I think they are a good team. They could compete easily in this group. So yeah, Manchester United. I think the Manchester United that Villarreal beat and this Manchester United are pretty different. This Manchester United are pretty strong with Ronaldo coming in, of course, Sancho coming in, Varane bolstering the defense. The only thing I'm concerned about Man United is Oli as a coach. He's too stubborn on his 4-2-3-1. I mean, you don't have a DM. Why not try the 3-4-3 with Pogba and Bruno in the center running the game and Lindelof in the defense also? Um, yeah, he does not change his formation much. He does not apply new tactics. The right side of the flank for them has looked dead most of the games with Aaron Van Bissaka not going forward. Um, like you cannot have a fullback for a top team just for his defensive nuance. So yeah, he at least they need to be on the money this time around. Only then they would be good. But I think that the new signings of Sancho, Ronaldo, and Varane are key signings, and who knows, they could actually win the whole competition. Yeah. So as far as the standings go, I think Man United would finish second, and with Atlanta just ahead of them, Villarreal would finish third, and Young Boys in last. In Group G, we have RB Salzburg from Austria, Sevilla from Spain, Lille from France, the French champions actually, and Wolfsburg from Germany. RB Salzburg are a good team comprising of youngsters, of course, the Red Bull formula. Uh, they scout youngsters, they sell the good players, and that is how their whole business system works. So yeah, I think that they can either do really well or really bad, considering most young players in teams are pretty inconsistent. So I think they could do well this time around. Going over to Sevilla, I think they have a good team, of course, and they have recruited Lamela from Tottenham. But lost Brian Hill instead. I think Lamela finds his form, he could be a really dangerous player. Of course, they have Papu Gomez, who they recruited the previous year, and he's a phenomenal player as well. They have retained Jules Koundé. Of course, they have lost Luke De Jong, but he wasn't any good anyway. He started on the bench, so yeah. And they signed Rafa Mir instead, so that is good. I think Sevilla is a really good team right now, and yeah, I think they can do well. Uh, I am not so sure about Lille, to be honest, the French champions, and they have not shown because they have not shown any confidence in the domestic tournament, that is the Ligue 1. I think the loss of Mark Minion is uh, affecting them kind of, and I don't know about them actually. Wolfsburg from Germany. Yeah, they have a good team. Wout Weghorst is their striker, and he has a decent he has decent chance providers right now this time around. So I think they could do well, and they have started the Bundesliga in some fine fashion. They are the leaders right now. I don't know if they would continue this form throughout the season, but right now I think that they could do well in the Champions League too. So yeah, for the standings, I think Sevilla would finish first. Um, I think Wolfsburg would finish second. Uh, RB Salzburg would finish third, and Lille would finish last. Now, the last group, Group H, and we have Juventus, Chelsea, the previous champion, the defending champions of the Champions League, Zenit, and Malmo. Juventus are pretty depressing this time around, both for the fans, the coach, as a team. There are really not many positive signs around. They have started the domestic competition, Serie A, on a very poor note, not registering any wins from 3 games. I think one was a draw, and there have been 2 losses, or the other way around. But yeah, they have been winless in 3 games, so not too many positive points around. The problem, I think, lies with their midfield. I think the defense is sorted with Kellini, Bonucci, Delict, and Alexandro and Danilo, I think they could do a serviceable job. The attack is all right with Moise Kean coming in, Morata, and Dybala, but their midfield is atrocious. They have no one on the holding midfield. Rabiot is not a promising defensive mid, in my opinion. So yeah, nothing too positive from them, but they are still a good team. I think they could get out of this group easily. Um, let's move over to Chelsea, the defending champions, and rightly so. They have looked absolutely amazing for the season to start with. The fact that Thomas Tuchel is a brilliant coach, in my opinion, and he has a system which is both free flowing, and even if it ends up not being free flowing, they still win, and that is what champion teams do. I think in the recent encounter between Chelsea and Aston Villa, Aston Villa looked more dominant, but Chelsea still won 3-0. And credits to them. I think they have done a good job signing a good finisher in the shape of Lukaku. I think uh, the only thing I expect from them to change is to not play Havertz or Mount as inside number 10s. I think that a 3-5-2 formation with Werner and Lukaku up front, and Kovacic, Jorginho, and Kante in the midfield would do a much better job than the 3-4-3 that he has applied. But what do I know? I'm not a coach. So, yeah, I think Thomas Tuchel is brilliant, and he would do what it takes to take this Chelsea side forward. I think they are potential winners for the Champions League yet again. They are brilliant. So yeah, Zenit. I don't follow the Russian football much, of course, and yeah, I think that they are a good side. Zuba, with Zuba up front, Barrios in holding midfield. I think Barrios is pretty underrated. Yeah, they're a good team, but I'm not sure if they could get out of this group in the Champions League. I think they could easily end up in Europa League places. Malmo from Sweden, I have absolutely no hope from, but let's just hope they can do well. I mean, yeah, that's what you expect. Um, as far as my standings go in this group, I think Chelsea would finish in first. Juventus would finish second ahead of Zenit, who would finish in third, and Malmo would end up in last. So yeah, that's it from the video. Like if you like this video, dislike if you don't, subscribe for more of the same. Yeah, and I would be reworking my content a bit, I think. Yeah, so that's it. Goodbye. Bye.